Thank you for coming. Appreciate you, my brother. So this channel is called K9 Legends and Trailblazers.
Right.
You are a legend.
No.
Yes.
No.
I'm interviewing all legends first. I'll get Trailblazers later. You're like the fourth person to say no, but I'll tell you why I say that. And I say that because as I was coming up through my K9 career, there were maybe 10 handlers that I knew about that I said, I want to be like that. I want to work dogs like that guy works dogs.
Yeah.
And you were one of them.
Yeah.
And you always gave me a lot of respect. You always gave me a lot of good guidance. And you weren't even really here. I think you were stationed across the street.
Yeah. Yeah.
You ran up,
Yeah.
but I'd see you at the pit more than I see anybody else. And I'm like, oh, okay. So anyway, thank you, man. I appreciate you coming. The purpose of this channel is to highlight. We do a really good job of highlighting, honoring our four-legged heroes, as we should.
Yeah.
But there's a lot more to tell about the two-legged heroes that put the work in.
Yeah.
That do the training, that do the maintenance, that do the teaching, do the coaching,
right.
Not only for the dogs, but also for the handlers, right? So tell me what Arod was doing before he went into the Air Force.
So I grew up on a small farm in southeast Michigan. So a lot of people just like, man, I didn't even know they had Mexicans up in southeast Michigan. But if you understand the history about migrant workers, so my father and his brothers. Well, let me first go back to the legacy of my military heritage.
Mm-hmm.
About 90% of my uncles and my father were all in the military at some point in their life.
Right.
And when my father came back from serving in the military, they were migrant workers as children.
Mm-hmm.
And so they traveled up to Michigan, way up into the Ohio Valley,
Mm-hmm.
doing apples and tomatoes and all that growing up. So that's how our family had a connection with the Midwest.
Okay.
And so that's where I grew up. When my father got out of the Marine Corps, he moved the family up to Michigan, and they worked in the automotive industry, which was very appealing.
Yeah, sure.
Because at that point in the 60s and 70s, there wasn't much for people coming out of the military, whether it was Vietnam or the Korean War,
right,
to be, to progress themselves.
In a good industry at that time.
In a good industry at that time. So he moved up. Him and his three brothers, they moved up. One of my uncles worked for Tecumseh Motors, which is a big, small engine company, and then one of my uncles worked in the apple orchards, and then my dad worked for the car industry. So that's kind of how we ended up in Michigan.
Okay.
Small farm, growing up there in Michigan, so around a lot of animals, dogs, cows, horses, and all that stuff. So that's my love and passion. Kind of first started there with having dogs as personal dogs on the farm, and then kind of grew from there. And then that's my dad. My dad was just like, well, you have a couple routes you can go. Either you're going to sustain this livelihood here, or you're going to go out and do something else. And I chose the Air Force because I thought at the time it was just the better option of everything going on. And
what year was
I never
that?
looked.
What
1993.
1993. You enlisted.
I enlisted in 1993.
You went right here at Lackland Air Force Base. Went to boot camp.
Yep. Went to boot camp.
And then that time it was security police.
Yep. That time was security police.
So from there, that was actually a point. I think you were probably one of the last ones. Were you one of the last ones that went pipeline?
No, I didn't go pipeline. No,
or was it already past that?
No, it was past that. Yeah. So I went to Maelstrom Air Force Base in Montana.
Oh.
No, I really towards the end of my tour there at Maelstrom, I really did enjoy it. I met my first wife there, and that's when I kind of got back into, just having a passion for animals because she lived on a ranch.
Right.
They were ranchers.
Okay.
And so I was able to reconnect with that.
So you do what? So at that time, that would have been that once you hit that E4, that option, right?
Yes.
Looking at that. So you do 3 years
there.
Yes,
I did 3 years there.
And then you get that option of K9 or CADM, right? That came down.
Yeah. Well, there was a couple things that came before that, and I was heavily involved with the Special Tactics Unit, which was TRF at the time, and we were kind of the first generation of people that started that up in the nuclear, um, discipline
So
of
basically, like nuclear recovery SWAT,
yes,
right?
yes.
Mm-hmm.
So we were the kind of the ones that kind of we were kind of revolutionized that what that looked like in Space Command, which
Right,
is
right.
you know back in the day, Space Command had all the money and all
Yeah.
that stuff. So we were the first ones that kind of revolutionized the approach to tactical recovery of critical resources and assets. So I trained with a lot with the Department of Energy.
Mm-hmm.
I was blessed to go to several tactical schools um, during that time, and I was very fortunate. And then when the opportunity presented itself to do something else, I kind of felt like I had done as much as I could at
Right.
that time. Then I was just like, I want to do something different, and it was the always appeal for K9 was always there. So that's at that point is when I
So
I
what year
cross
you
trained them.
come down here and go through K9 school?
99,
99.
1990.
Okay.
Yep.
So 1999, pre 9/11.
Yep.
All
Pre
right.
9/11.
We were experimenting a little bit. We already had Gulf War One. Bosnia is already kind of
Kind of
tailoring
cut. Yeah,
off,
Taylor
right?
cutting back. Yeah.
So a little bit of that kind of Cold War era, if you will, not quite, but still kind of lingering around. So 1999, you show up back at Lackland, which we all love as security police because every school we go to
Everything.
is here. So we know Valley Highgate really well.
Mhm.
But so you come back, you go to K9 school. Do you remember your instructors?
Um, yes, I do.
Yeah,
Yeah, I do. A Marine Corps handler named Burgundy.
yeah, okay. I know that one.
Yeah. Yep. Oh God, Lord. I remember the course chief was Lawson.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yep. That was the course chief. Um,
yeah. I worked
and
for him
really,
later, but
yeah.
yeah.
Other than that, I really those were like the most
The ones that stood out,
that stood out.
the most influential. Yeah, Burgundy's a very influential guy. Um,
Yeah.
so at that time too, it was it was dual course, block one, block two,
Right.
right? So like I've had other guests on, and not to date them with their age, but they went through patrol dog
Patrol
training,
dog school, the
went to the
came back
field,
for
and then came
detection.
back.
Yeah. Yep.
So this is a point where it's one shot through patrol, through detection, and
Yeah.
get through all that. Do you recall or you remember any of the dogs that you had while you were on the school?
I don't.
I still remember. I don't know
I had
how.
one named
Yeah,
Ben,
yeah.
and that was it.
I had Rico Whiskey 077. I don't
I
know.
had a
I'll never
Ben,
forget him.
but
But
other than that,
so from there you get through school, right? You learn all the fundamentals. You work the ammo cans, the buckets, the boxes, do all the fight work, pass all your tests, and then now you're getting orders, right? Where are orders taking you? What's your first assignment with?
820th.
To the 820th here at Lackland.
Yes.
Okay, that's interesting because I was 820th in Georgia.
Yes.
Right. And so I'd heard a lot about the 820th group here. So with that being said, were you strictly assigned to the 820th, or were you assigned to the Lackland Kennels and attached to 820th? Like how'd
No.
that work?
No. So the transition period was occurring at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So I had orders to the 820th group,
Right.
and it was here at Lackland Air
Right.
Force Base in San Antonio. And then when I found out that it was moving to Georgia,
Mm-hmm.
they said that we're going to relocate you to Georgia.
Right.
So I was given two options. You either relocate to Georgia or you stay here and you train dogs at the 341st.
So that's how you ended up in the 341st.
Yes.
Now 820th was a whole different. It was a whole different animal. So with what Arod worked, the 820th group spun off the 822nd, 823rd, 824th Security
Yeah, all the
Forces Squadrons
squadrons. Yep.
in Valdosta, Georgia, and I was a part of that. So I was in both 822nd, 824th. But we'll get back to 820th. But okay, so then you slide over from the 820th Security Forces group, and something about the 820th in general is they don't do normal police work. They're
No.
not out running base. It's base defense operations or aggressive
Right.
operations, right? Mainly being such a small unit at that time, probably attached
At that time it
attached
was.
on deployments to other branches and things
Correct.
like that.
Correct.
Which is really unique for the Air Force and also a blessing for me later in life. But so then you end up over at 341st, right? You walk in there that same day, hey, tell us who you are, and everybody yells, shut the fuck up, sit down, nobody cares, right? And they scream it at the top of their fucking lungs, every one of them, even the commander, right? So So you're like, what the hell did I just get into?
For sure, for sure.
But some of the folks I've talked to over the last couple of days, they just reiterate, and I even say it for myself, is that was the foundation for everything that great that came for me and to me from K9. And
Yeah,
I thought, me personally, and I want to get your opinion. Me personally, I thought it was because of, one, the people that were motivated around me, the legends that were there that I looked at, and then the repetitions that I was able to get on dogs, whether it be in patrol
right.
or explosive detection. But what do you think, like, the biggest value of being there was?
Well, I mean, we talk about legends, but I think that our generation, everybody that we can capture in this moment in time after on the cusp of 9/11,
Yeah,
I think everybody that came up through that generation that we're all legends. Everybody's a legend,
yeah,
to be honest with you.
yeah. I don't
Because
disagree.
I mean, not that the greatest generation was not they weren't legends, back in World War II, but
Right.
I think that we dealt with a lot of different things. It was a lot of there was no chance for failure, man.
No, no, absolutely
It's
not. Because people were dying.
yes.
People were dying.
So I think that everybody from that generation of their own accord are legends. Just
Well,
just because just
they
because
told the line, and they did some unbelievable numbers with the amount of explosive dogs that flipped basically overnight, right?
yeah,
Because you remember, prior to 9/11, you might have an 8 dog kennel and 6 of them are drug dogs,
right.
right? And that completely flipped
Flipped.
after 9/11,
Yeah.
and that production went up, and that student course went up from 12
Oh yeah.
to 22
Exponentially.
exponentially quickly.
Yeah.
And so I agree with you 100%. Like that, that's a moment in time, right after 9/11, probably up to about 2006, 7, where it was just go.
It was a generation. It was a generation of women and men that put out.
Yeah,
And I think there's a lot to be said about that because
yeah,
that was a moment in time that you could capture that. It was just like there's no a failure wasn't an
right.
option.
And still to this day, and I know you've worked for other federal agencies, as have I, and you've been out in the civilian world as well. Either contractors or doing your own thing. To this day, there is no better mobile detection device than a dog,
Oh yeah,
hands down.
absolutely.
I've had
Hands down.
I've been in Afghanistan for 18-month pumps as a civilian, and I see all these folks bring over all this equipment and said this is great. I'm like, okay, cool, let's take it on patrol.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, we can't take it
Let's see
out
how that
there,
works.
right? Right. So no,
Yeah,
I don't disagree with you, and I think sometimes we lose sight of that, of how much we actually did,
yeah.
right, and how much we influence the younger ones under us. And there's one in particular that you and I both know, and I've always been so proud of this young man. His name's Ryan Troster, um, and I've watched him grow. I watched him grow under me in Del Rio, and I pushed him when he needed to be pushed, and now he's out doing his own thing, and he's
Yeah,
very successful. But that's the kind
absolutely.
of handler trainer that you've molded. You
Yes.
had a hand in it too. I
Yeah.
had a small piece. You had a big hand in it.
Yeah.
But that's the type of work that you put out, man. And I watch that. And the reason I call you a legend is when I go places and I talk about my time in the 341st or the 820th, your name always comes up every time. And they're like, "Do you know A-Rod?" I'm like,
Well,
"Absolutely."
there was like 16 different A-Rods at the
Well,
time, but
yeah, there's a bunch of them, but only they were talking about you for
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
And I'm like, "Wait a minute, Randolph,
Right.
Randolph A-Rod, which one?" And so yeah,
No.
so you get 341st, man, and that mission is strong because you say you got there in 99.
Yeah.
So you were obviously there for 9/11,
Yeah.
right? And I think the first time I met you, I was in 820th, and I was on patrol with Marines, 14th MEU, in on the Pakistan-Afghan border, right where the Bora Bora stuff happened, or Tora Bora,
Core
sorry.
bar stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. And my dog goes, "Er." I was like, "Oh man, I'm sorry, I stepped on your toe, bro." Right? So we get back, and this is a bear base. There's nothing there, and it looks like a big dirt pile on his testicle. And I'm like, I go to knock it off, and skin and everything falls off. Well, he's got 2 puncture holes there. Well, there's cobras everywhere out there. So I go over to the med thing, and there's no vet there, obviously, right? We're sea wire and sandbag huts. So they get me on a medevac. They get me to Germany. They clip my dog. They do all this. Well, they saw something in my dog when I was in Germany, so they wanted me to bring in the Lackland. So I roll into
You
Lackland,
came back to Lackland.
and
I remember that. I
I'm
remember that.
dirty. I'm still dirty. I'm still,
I remember that.
yeah.
I remember when
So I come in, Sergeant Parker,
yeah,
Sergeant
yeah,
First Class Parker,
yeah.
and I talked to you guys for a little bit outside, and I rolled back out, But that was the first time I met you, and I'll never forget that, man. You're really you had a lot of questions for me. You're like, why are you so dirty? And I'm like, I literally just flew back in 2 days from Afghanistan.
Yeah.
But anyway, long story short, we've stayed in touch since then over the years with the federal agency that we both used to work for. That's a whole nother story there. But we're out here. We're pushing. You're pushing dogs. You're pushing students. How long did you spend on the dog training side?
4 years.
4 years
4 years.
there.
So I did 4 years, and then I went to Korea.
Oh, from here you went to Korea.
Yeah. So I did a 1 year rotation in Korea. Came back. And then I went. That's when I went to Randolph.
That's when you went to Randolph. So you were part of that Chief Raleigh. I got to get everybody out of here. They've been too long.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I just missed that one. So I got here in
You're like, I just missed that one.
I missed that one. I got here in 03. So at Randolph, right, and that's where I started seeing more and more of you because obviously you use that to your advantage, right? You were in the squadron. You know there's training areas. You know there's problem solvers. You know there's all that.
I did.
So I remember you showing up with your entire kennel.
I did
all the time.
I had to
all the time.
I had to, man.
Yeah.
There was just no way that I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
There was just no. I was always about building relationships, man.
Yeah.
And just about producing a better product,
right.
And then mentoring or helping people. I mean, I don't have all the right answers, but I was always enough to like if I don't have the right answers, we're gonna find the right answers.
Find them, right? Yeah. I mean, there's only I say in K9 there's only like usually 1 or 2 degrees of separation. You know, as I process out of the military and I start working for civilians and I get out, I was running a program and all these resumes are coming in. I was like, if I don't know them, I'm gonna make 2 calls and somebody's gonna know them, right?
Oh yeah,
and that's
for sure.
And that's how it happened, right?
For sure.
So yeah, 100%, absolutely. So you do your 4 years, you go to Korea. Now, when you go to Korea, you're at least a NCO by then, right?
Yeah, I was a staff sergeant at the time.
So
had a line for tech, and then so the wolf in the room is a lot of people that came out of that culture at DTS. They weren't very well received in the rest of the operational community. And no, I got it and I understood it. So because I wasn't a handler at the time, I was a trainer at the time, and so that was I'm sure you dealt with the same thing. But it was I made it work because I was always a worker. So so
well, and like your methods are proven, man. Like I've seen you train 100 times. I know how you train. I know how you teach. Eventually, you can resist it all you want, but you're not going to be successful, right? So, like I heard this thing the other day say you can choose option A, or you can choose option A later, right? Like right. So I was like that. I love it.
I'm still in that.
Yeah. That's exactly what I said. I said I'm taking that. But yeah, so you go over there, you're NCO, you're a trainer. You're a Kunsan or Osan?
Kunsan.
So Kunsan, the smaller of the bases,
smaller
right?
bases, yeah.
But still, quite a few teams there, right?
Yeah. I think it was like like 12 or 13.
Yeah.
teams.
So a good sized kennel.
Yeah, decent size.
You do a year. That's a remote tour. Unfortunately, you can't take your family, anything like that. So from there, you get orders back to Texas,
Randolph.
Back to Randolph.
Randolph,
which was Air Force headquarters, right?
Yeah.
Air Force headquarters. Yep. And so, I'd start seeing you coming around. You'd be out with your dogs and your training, doing those things. And what I noticed is that, I love my heritage of the Air Force, but Marines build a different kind of dog trainer, handler, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I watched the Marines interact with you, the old school Marines that I respected, and they were all eyes wide open when you were talking. So I was like, yeah, this guy's it, man. He's got it. He's got it. There, when Shane Green is listening to you and Brian Thayer is listening to you, well, while he's not making fun of you for some reason,
yeah.
But but yeah, there's something there. But yeah, so from there, did you end up retiring out of Randolph?
Actually, so my last billet, or lack of a better term, my last assignment was at headquarters,
Hmm.
Air Education and Training Command, and then on the cusp of, I had some personal things going on in my life, and I was just like, I think it's time for me to move on, and I just I got pretty jaded with the politics as you
Hmm.
move up in rank.
Yep. Hmm.
I was an E8 at the time and working at headquarters, and I'm just like, and then man, they were just like, well, we're gonna send you to, you're gonna make chief, but you need to move to Del Rio, Texas.
To Laughlin.
I'm like, yeah, that's not gonna happen.
Right.
So yeah, so
Yeah.
I pulled up chalks, man. I was just like,
Well, unfortunately, in the Air Force, that's kind of how that goes. Once you promote
yeah,
yourself, you promote yourself out of something you love, right?
yeah,
And the thing about being a K9 handler, especially if you do it more than one tour, is it's not about just being a dog handler or a military police or security forces. It's a lifestyle, man.
it's a
It's a
lifestyle,
commitment.
and it's about
Yes.
advocating for the people that are around you and the people that are coming up underneath you.
Right.
And I feel like I kind of lost that. It's fine. I know
Well, we go through
it's
those, man.
yeah,
We go through
it's
those. Yeah.
institutionalized,
Yeah.
and but I had some really great leaders at the time, and they tried to get me to, now you can get through this. But at the time, I was just like, no, I'm done. So, well, shoot, I don't even remember the question you were asking me. Like, what?
No, no, it's okay. I was talking about
About
your time at Randolph. So you didn't finish there.
yeah, so I didn't finish there. So they moved me over to Lackland for my last bit, and I was already on the road, and I had a good time there, and it was just last 6 or 7 months, but
Right.
it
Just
was
sitting
just
on borrowed time,
yeah, borrowed
waiting to
time.
punch.
But you know what? My commitment when I moved over there is I'm going to show up to PT every Monday morning, and I'm
Mhm.
going to show up to PT every Friday morning,
Yeah.
and that was my commitment my last 7 months.
Right. No, that's commendable. Um, so from there you retire,
Yep,
right? And
yep.
then where do you go from there
So I moved out to California for 5 minutes.
for for 5 minutes?
Yeah, I moved out there and I worked for a contract for the U.S. Treasury Department,
Okay.
um, and I didn't like it, and that was a very challenging time in our lives. And I was actually still dating my wife right now, and Michelle, I could tell that I could see it. I could see the writing on the wall. So like, this wonderful woman is not going to stay with me
Right.
if I stay out here.
Right.
She's a Texas girl,
Right.
so we found our way back, and then I went and worked for State Department for a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I worked for TSA for 5 minutes.
You did some overseas
Yeah,
contracting with State
yeah,
Department?
yeah.
Yeah.
So I was at so I worked at 2 sites. I worked mobile. So I had a moment where I was trying to sell dogs, and then the industry was super saturated, and I was just like,
Hmm.
yeah, this is just not. I can't make a living off of this. And then I had some pretty close friends that said, well, go contract. So I had an opportunity to go contract for the State Department, and I really didn't want anything to do with K9 at the time. I was just pretty jaded with just the whole thing. As we get out of the military, we have these illusions
Hmm.
that were so valuable
Hmm.
and that we can do all these different things. And I found out very quickly that's not the way it is.
That's right.
And then after depression sets in and
Yeah, that's right.
everything else sets in, and then you're just like, well, I'm either gonna put up or shut up.
Right.
And so, you look at yourself in the mirror and you gotta make some hard decisions. And I made some hard decisions, and luckily, my wife Michelle was there, and she was backing me 100%. But I stepped away from doing K9 for almost 2 years, and I contracted as on mobile team, so
Right. Right. I
mobile
understand.
team for
Hmm.
contracting. So it had nothing to do with dogs. And then luckily, I was able to get onto the dog side, and then I finished my time out as a training director at the embassy in Iraq. So I was super blessed to encounter and meet a lot of really great people.
Right.
And then you know how this is you go into that type of ego inflated or ego energized environment.
Hmm.
Being an Air Force guy, that they think
Right.
that you're not put together.
Right.
Um,
And then they find out.
and then,
And then they find out.
and then they find out. So, man, I still have really good relationships with those guys that I was on, that I ran that contract, that I was on that contract with.
Yeah.
I still stay in touch with
And
them.
I'd say this, man, like same boat. Like I've never really had a moment since I got out of active duty that I haven't had a job, you know, an offer or something. Um, and I've circled my way around a couple times, you know, with different things. And one of the things I respect about you is I know you just went and did it, man. You just
You have
pulled
to.
chalks and went and did it. And that's kind of where I am in my life right now, minus, you know, taking care of my family. But I think for me, just recently retiring September
Yeah,
30th, I'm gonna breathe for about 6 months.
you have
And
to.
I'm gonna work my
You have
plan.
to reset.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I'm gonna get back out there in K9, but I'm gonna do it on my
on
terms.
your terms.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it on my terms. And I
Absolutely.
really respect that about you because every time I log into Facebook, I'm like, what's he doing now? What's he selling? What's he got?
What's he said?
What's he
What's he
got?
got?
What them shirts look like? How much are they?
But
But so you come over to a federal agency we both worked for a little while. And I think that's the last time we hung out. And I won't talk about it because I don't want to get you in trouble. But
I always tell people about that story.
can we tell that story?
You can tell it.
Okay, we're gonna tell that
We're gonna
story.
tell a story.
I love this story. It's one of my favorites. But so Arod he's going through handler course, I think, at the moment.
Was I?
Either
Oh,
handler
yeah,
course.
no,
I was
think I
going through
was.
bridge course. So bridge course was a course that when I went out to be a handler in the field, I went through multimodal school, which is EDC, Explosive Detection K9. But as the agency transferred or transformed into passenger screening dogs or PBIED,
Oh,
whatever you
that's
want
right.
to
That's
call
right.
it,
Yeah.
I had to come back to a school for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Well, every time I showed up in town, Brian Thayer would show up, and there would always be alcohol involved. So I'm in the dorms. I'm actually staying in the barracks. We're both staying in barracks, I think.
Yeah.
And Brian goes, "Hey, get ready. We're leaving." I'm like, "Okay."
You're like, what the hell's
He's
going
like,
on
he's
here?
like, "A-Rod's gonna meet us at your room." I'm like, "Okay." So I get dressed. He shows up with a case of beer, and we said we're gonna go down to the college area here in San
The
Antonio,
St. Mary Street.
St. Mary Street. So we're pre-gaming there. We get loose.
The wife knows about the story,
Okay,
so
okay, good.
there's full
So
disclosure.
so we get loosened up, you know, and so we go down there. We're having a good time. Me and Brian sit in the bar. Rod gets a couple in him. He's feeling good. He wants to go dance. And he's over there dancing, and one little girl gets annoyed with his dancing, I guess, and complains to the bouncer. And Brian looks at me and goes, "Hey, kill that beer." I'm like, "What?" He said, "Kill the beer. We're gonna have to go soon." I'm like, "Why?" He goes, "Look." And at that time, the bouncer's shoving A-Rod out the door. So I kill my beer, go outside. He starts trying to manhandle Rod, which wasn't a good idea. So we all kind of end up on the ground there. And then I look up, and this bouncer's big fist is coming straight from my face. So I duck. Unknown to me, Brian's standing right behind me.
Right behind you.
And Brian eats the knuckles. And then we all on top of this guy, and I think Brian whispers in his ear, he's like, "You're about to get really hurt, man. You just stay right here. It's done."
Yeah.
So we get up, we leave, and I think that's the last time we hung out on a regular basis or on a social basis. Social basis. And then I never forget. You know, we're out, we're drinking, we're having a good time, and you know, you're hungry after the night. So Brian and I stopped by Whataburger. And all I hear him is crying over there about the salt is burning his lip because his lip's busted. So he's like, "Why did you duck?" I'm like, "Well, I'm supposed to get hit? Come on, bro."
I think I'm still 86 from that bar.
Yeah, I'm sure you are. They probably took your picture.
You took my picture. I'm still
So,
and that was what geez, man, like 6 or 7 years ago.
Yes, they still got your picture.
They still got my picture.
But I remember about a week later, you were like, "Hey, man, I gotta go do this interview. I got an interview for a supervisor job."
Yeah.
You're like, "I gotta go do this interview." So you went up to the head shed,
Yeah.
did your video. You had your suit on, you did it, and then you came back maybe a day or two later. Like, "Hey, I'm leaving the course." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "I'm leaving the course. I got the job. I got the
supervisor job.
So so you were with that federal agency, you supervised. How long did you stay in that position? It wasn't that long, was it?
I barely made 2 years.
Yeah, so 2 years, but you did a lot of good things out there too.
Man, I
Uh,
had, you know what? And there's a lot of people that set that up for me, um, because I didn't want to. The contracting life, as you're well aware,
yeah,
overseas, that's not a life to sustain.
no, no,
And there was a lot of people that advocated for me. One of them is Shane Lawson. He was actually at the Denver station, and there was several other. Brian advocated for me, and there's like a lot of people that
yeah,
so that I could get hired at the airport because I was just like I don't want to be 65 years old and still contracting overseas and
right.
because there's a lot of people that do that.
Yeah, 100%.
100%.
And they
So
make a lot of money, but
they make a
they
lot of
miss a
money,
lot
but
of life too. That
yes,
that was
you
for
do.
me. After 18 months, I was like, that
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm done.
So
There's no amount of money at this point.
it's not even worth it.
Yeah,
So so the, I had some really good relationships at the Denver airport, and a lot of them were my supervisor. Both my supervisors ahead of me were exceptional.
yeah.
They were really good guys. It was just dealing with the culture,
Hmm.
and
Definitely
it's
culture shock, right?
yes,
Difference
oh yeah,
of
absolutely.
being military overseas
It's a
contract
contractor.
to this
Yes,
agency, right?
yes.
Yeah,
It's definitely it's so I for lack of a better term, I don't know who coined this phrase, but I feel like it turned into a lot of security theater.
yeah, 100%.
So
A little bit of smoke and mirrors and
yes,
this and that.
yes, and I get it. I get it. I'm super. The difference between my wife and myself is she's to the point. I'm a bit more diplomatic,
Yeah. Hmm.
and I'm very fine with being diplomatic to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Um, but those were the challenges, and not that I didn't appreciate the opportunity and that I didn't learn a lot. I learned tons. I learned tons from the people that were there, from people that were, Pat. Pat was a phenomenal influencer at that time
Yeah.
for what was going on in the industry for the
Right.
passenger screening canines.
Right.
Guys that were influential in that aspect or that time in
Yeah.
my life, and most of them were prior military.
Right.
So, but
Right.
I had really great connections with, so it was good.
Yeah.
I take a lot away from it.
That's what I think too. There was a lot of transitioning going on during that time frame of how we work and train these dogs and utilize this asset. Again, the mobile asset being the best explosive detection asset, point blank. Period. No, hands down, not even close.
So in my courses that I teach now, I talk about the four dimensions of detection work,
Hmm.
and I call passenger screening canines as the fourth dimension.
Yeah.
It's a mobile target moving,
Right.
and the dog needs to be able to
And
detect
that's
it.
a great transition because you finish up with that federal agency, and then what happens? You just start doing your own thing.
No,
No.
no, so the reason I left TSA, well, it's not the reason I left the agency is I had an opportunity to go work for the special operations community, and so that's when I made a decision because of that, because of based on relationships we had in the past
Right.
with people that you and I know.
Hmm.
Somebody reached out to me and said, like, "Hey, man, do you have any interest in doing this?"
Right.
And I didn't have a lot of connections. Well, I wasn't really concerned about a federal retirement from the current agency. So I
Right.
just said like, okay, yeah, I am interested, but I'd like to go down and see what the program looks like.
Hmm.
And then after I did that, so then I applied and was hired at, as a civilian trainer for 10 Special Forces Group at Fort Carson. So
Nice.
that's where I finished kind of my last punch in the clock job um, for a little over 4 years.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's right. I forgot about that. And I want to ask you any questions about that. That's you can't really speak about it. We don't
No,
even see.
I can speak about it. I'm not.
I mean,
I can speak about it enough.
I know that's a lot of intense training,
Yeah, absolutely.
intense people, um,
Yeah, it is.
and the work that goes on there. And most people never know what kind of work those guys do, and what they put on the line. I had a good friend of mine who passed away, Chris Lalonde,
Yeah.
that worked out of the Bragg
Yep.
Group, and you know we've had a couple nights where he's like, "Hey, check out this video." I'm like, "Oh my gosh, that dog has meat in his face." Like he's like, "That's not hamburger."
That's a hamburger.
But I understand it, and that is a whole different level of compassion, pride, of commitment, of training, of just being the guy that you are. That I know how you are. You put 150% into it, so I'm sure those guys were thankful to have you there for 4 years. Um,
So
but
for the first year, I basically just shut my mouth and open my ears,
yeah,
and that's important. It didn't matter what
yeah,
background I came
yeah,
from.
sure,
I was I was blessed to be put in that position, and I'm sure God puts us in positions to be able to influence things
yes,
and to embrace things and make ourselves better.
hmm
And that's kind of the opportunity. That was my takeaway from it, was take this opportunity and just like Green Berets are, as
hmm
quiet professionals,
right,
as much as I could be a quiet professional,
right,
and to help them make themselves better,
right,
not from an operational standpoint, but from a dog training
right.
standpoint. And that's kind of the way I went into it from that perspective. I have long lasting relationships with all those guys that I
And that's
was
so
in.
important in K9. I try to preach this to everybody. Your network is so important, man.
It is.
Your network. You try not to burn bridges in this agency. Or do we, or in this community, do we give each other shit? Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
Do we beat each other up? Hell
Oh
yeah.
yeah, we do.
And if you can't take that, like you weren't meant to be
You were meant
K9.
to be.
So with that being said, man, that's a lot to take in, right? But also that network is never going to fail you, right? There's been so many times where I've reached out to someone in our network and like, hey, I need, boom, you got to do 100%. There it is,
Oh yeah.
right? And the same goes for you. You
Oh
reach
yeah.
out, they're gonna be like, boom, got you.
Yep.
I'm gonna take care of it. But we didn't just get that. That it wasn't just given to us. That's something that we earned over the last 25, 30
Oh, we
years
built that. We built that.
of building that trust and that
Trust.
relationship,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
We finished up talking about network, and now,
Well,
what are you
hold
doing
on,
now?
hold on a second.
Huh?
I, I'm gonna.
What happened?
Michelle and I would like to present to you with this gift bag, man.
Y'all got something for me?
Yeah.
Let me check
So,
this out.
so that's from us. Another hoodie, and
Yeah.
so on the
That's,
behalf of us, or OK9 Services.
I appreciate that, man. It looks phenomenal. It feels phenomenal. This ain't no cheap shit, y'all. Wow. Oh, that's awesome, bro. That's your brand too, right? Old
Yep,
Republic.
yep, yep.
That's so cool, man. I want to run something by you later. I had an idea for some apparel, but fine stuff, bike stuff. I love it. That's awesome, bro.
So that's all
Thank
you,
you,
man.
man.
Yep, yep,
Appreciate you.
yep. Absolutely.
You the man.
And then our classic. This is a little bit of Northeast Texas flavor, man. Because we like to say howdy.
Uh-huh. Oh, well, let's put your hat up here, bro.
There we go.
Let's film it.
So that's the Oro K9 Services.
What's
And
it
then
say?
it says tell
Tell
your
your
dog
dog
I
I
said
said
howdy.
howdy. Oh, I love it, dude. I love it. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. That's very nice of y'all. Thank you, Michelle.
And then there you go.
Yeah,
Now you have some
now I got a
koozies.
koozie. I'm gonna use it right now. I'm gonna tag all this shit for you. Oh, it's leather? Oh my god, that ain't cheap, bro. You must get a good deal. I know your ass is cheap.
Okay, so
All
where were we at?
right. So let's, you had a long career, whether it was in DoD, federal service, um, doing contracting like we've all
Yeah,
done. Um, and
yeah.
now you're here. Now you have
Oro K9 Services.
now we
Old
have
Republic of K9
it's kind of like
Services.
old Republic of Texas
Texas.
kind of feel. Yeah, I like it, brother. I love it.
Yeah, that was the our intentions. We always had intentions of moving back to Texas,
Yeah.
and that was kind of by design. And we're super blessed to be back in Texas and doing what, at the end of the day, what
what you both love doing, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely,
You know, and
absolutely.
that's so great that like you and your wife are able to share that experience together, right? Like she takes care of the things you need to take. She needs to take care of. You take care, and you do it together,
Yes,
right? You
absolutely.
build a business together.
Yes,
You build,
she's the CFO. She's the head of the Department of War, the War Department.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, heck, Seth.
Yeah, yeah. That's why I said that's when people call me, they're like, "Who's that calling you?" And I was like, "It's the War Department."
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It's Michelle Heckseth.
Michelle Jackson.
That's
I
funny.
like that. She'll love that.
She
She'll love that.
got you. That's going on the
That's
video.
good.
Yeah, it's going on
Yes,
the video.
absolutely. But she keeps everything together, man, and I'm super blessed and to have this opportunity to grow our business. And we do board and trains
Mm-hmm.
for personal pets,
Mm-hmm.
and I enjoy that. I really do. I enjoy getting into the mind of dogs that I never really traditionally had access to,
Right.
and learning more because to learn every breed, giving myself accessibility to different dogs is going to make me a better contributor to what we do
Yeah.
overall
100%.
for for
100%.
for the
I
industry.
mean, a Chihuahua acts very different than a German Shepherd, right?
Yes.
A French
I like I
Bulldog
like I
acts
like
very
I
different.
like how you did those two opposing
Right.
Chihuahuas and German Shepherds, completely
Way, way,
opposing
way out there.
personalities.
No, and look, that's a big industry. You know, pet industry is a big industry. There's more pets today, pet dogs today than there's ever been.
Yeah.
You know, unfortunately, we don't have people with large families. Like well, I got 7 kids, but
God dang.
yes,
What are you, Mormon?
kind of. But but we don't have that anymore. And I meet so many people that don't have kids and they have dogs, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure you do too
Yeah,
in your
yeah,
line of
absolutely.
business.
Well, you're
Um,
either Mormon or you're Mexican. With the amount of kids you have.
I don't know.
You're
A
like,
little dark to be Mormon.
like
I don't know, brother. But you know, of course, I love the fact that you're doing what you love at your own pace, on your own time, working how you want to work, man, and that makes my heart happy because that's where I'm headed. You know, I'm heading that same direction, and it's not always about the bite, the fine. Sometimes it's about the learning, right? It's about the teaching.
absolutely.
And what I found in pet dog training, I've dabbled with it a little bit here and there, doing some behavioral stuff, is make that person's life better by teaching that dog to have manners in their house, right?
Yes, it's
That,
about exactly what you said. And I'm going to elaborate. I didn't mean to cut you off.
no, go
I
ahead.
want to elaborate on that. It's about empowering people to have peace of mind
Right,
under their terms.
right.
So I don't know if you know this guy. His name's Eric Stambro. He does like um, he's been a little influential in my life in
Mm-hmm.
regards to training methods.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, "Are you a litter mate or are you a leader?"
Right. I understand. Mm-hmm.
And I think that's so phenomenal in that saying.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. And you know the thing is quality of life for that person that it has that pet, and because I've seen so many times where the owner of that pet just puts up with something because
Yeah.
they don't want to deal with it. I think the hardest thing in the civilian population is training is follow through, right? Like you or me or anybody we know, we can go out and fix everything that's wrong with your dog. But when I leave, are you going to continue? Right? Are you going to follow a training plan? Are you going to follow up? Bad for them because good business for us. Because when you don't follow up, I'm going to come back up for
Come back.
another session. I'm going to charge you another $300, right? And my wife always tells me, she says, "You have the worst business plan ever." I'm like, "Why?" She said, "Because you fixed their dog in one session."
You have the worst business plan ever.
She's like, "It's the worst business plan ever. Like you fixed their dog in one session." But I don't have it in my heart, and so maybe I'm not going to make it in the pet dog industry at all. I don't have the heart to keep going when I know they can do it if they follow what I told them, but they never do.
But they never do.
So they always come back.
They always
so
come
that's
back.
what I tell my wife.
You
It
could
comes
fix
back
it.
around.
You could still fix it in one session.
Yeah,
But They're always gonna, because
yeah,
they can't replicate.
right. It's gonna come back
It's gonna
around,
come
right?
back around.
Yeah, always does, always
But it
does.
makes them feel like if he can do it, it empowers them. You can show them
Yeah,
that they are capable of doing it themselves.
yeah, 100%,
And
100%.
100%, man, that's all I want to do for the pet dog industry is
Yeah.
just is try to empower people to be able to do these things on their own.
So aside from the pet dog, I know you have your clothing line, which
Oh yeah, yeah,
thank
yeah,
you
yeah,
very
yeah,
much.
yeah.
And we'll make sure I hyperlink the internet address or the
The link,
site, the
yeah.
link. I'll hyperlink all that at the bottom of this. So please go out and support Arod and Michelle
Yes,
in their
we
endeavors.
appreciate that.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, man. So I besides that now, what else, man? What's
What
next?
else? Next, moving forward, is just expanding our business and just really just trying to create a just a symbiotic relationship between dogs and people, and on the pet industry, and
Yeah,
then well also being able to move forward with our mobile training team.
yeah. Okay.
So training law enforcement, military
Yeah.
across the nation,
Doing doing doing
actually globally,
maintenance training, doing whatever's
everything,
needed, right? Right.
whatever's needed.
Yeah.
So what I like to highlight is that I'm getting ready to write a training manual or a
Mhm.
book on gunfire inoculation for dogs,
Okay.
and that's really gonna like set us up for moving forward with everything we've done the last 10 or 15 years in regards to inoculating dogs to gunfire. Um, Man, it's just a segment of the population in the canine industry that's really misunderstood,
Hmm.
because it's so dynamic and it's so misunderstood that I really want to just introduce the mechanisms and the training apparatus so that people can have a structure about training dogs to be able to deal with gunfire,
Right.
whether it's gunfire inoculation, moving with dogs, and I'm using a very progressive approach to it. So
Yeah.
I'm super excited about moving forward with that. So
And that
hopefully,
still covers both industries as well,
oh
right?
yeah,
So
absolutely,
not on the civilian side, you have bird dogs, you have hunt dogs, all
yes,
all these things that dogs have to get acclimated to, that have to get processed through, and we've seen it in the military, obviously because it's a requirement, right,
right,
for our dogs to be able
right,
to handle that stress free, and unfortunately, a lot of times it's not stress free for them, but we get through it. But I think that's really important, right? If you are a law enforcement agency, a federal agency that carries and has to use deadly force at some point in your career, your life, to return fire or to eliminate a suspect, then 100% that dog needs to be able to withstand that
yes,
and still
and
operate
still
in
operate.
that condition. Yeah.
Correct,
So no,
correct.
that's really cool. I'm looking forward to that book. Make sure you let me know when it comes out.
Yes, absolutely.
I will most definitely tag it
Yeah.
on K9 Legends and Trailblazers. But man, I want to thank you for your
All right, brother.
time today.
Yes.
I appreciate you, man. You are a legend, whether you know you are or not. At least you are in my book, and I
No,
appreciate it,
God
man.
bless you and your family, and
Thank you.
God bless everybody out there that's doing work and doing God's work.
Yeah, amen to that, brother.